What we have right now is a very interesting rook's endgame with a lot of pawns on the line, and white being able to control that opened e-file and eventually limit a little bit black's possibilities, as his king is a little restricted and he's not perfectly well set. The question is more of a direct, it has more of a direct value, and it has to be, okay, white's perfectly well placed. He's got the two pawns, f5, d5, the rook's on e3, and he's really cutting off the black king so it can go up and go faster. So what is white supposed to do now? Is there anything he can do to win? Perhaps the game is just going to end up in a draw. What do you think? The only thing we need to do to win is to find a way to penetrate with our rook inside black's position. Unfortunately, that's not possible at this present time because the black king is covering both e8 and e7, which means that it's impossible to get the rook across and attack with it. So what we need is another piece to help. The supportive piece could certainly be one like the pawn. If it wasn't for the rook to cover f6 and to stop it, or prevent us from being able to advance this pawn. Therefore, we certainly have h4. h4 is great as it takes down the g pawn. And after g takes h, we're able to play with a move like, well, actually that king has to move away. It looks like a very good spot and possibility for us to bring it to h3. And now g5 is a serious threat. f6 will be met by rook e6 with g5 as a possibility. And otherwise g5 follows anyway. In fact, it's extraordinary, but after b6, we may not even hurry for g5. So why not to wait a little bit and play something like a3, provoke him to play for king d8 to move his king down, or a5, which will create an isolated pawn, and then g5 will help us to take that pawn, play king g4, and most likely, after this take, we win, because there is no way how black can stop us from just moving our king to g5 and getting ready to support the f-pawn and its way to the queen. This is just beautiful. One of the most interesting things about this endgame is that we're really not supposed to find the solution immediately. We're supposed to ask ourselves, okay, this is the position I have. Now, what is the obstacle? What's holding me back? And then we realize that the real obstacle here is all about that rook. So how do I get to remove the rook? How do I get to make sure that this rook really goes away and he can't stand anymore? The f6. Of course, rook takes h4 is the move he's supposed to play, but then we have f6. h5, rook e7. When the king goes down, we exchange the pawn at h5, just in time, so that after rook takes h5 and then rook takes f7, our rook has already penetrated this position. And it's just a matter of a move or two until white actually gets to win. It's beautiful. Rook takes f7, rook h4, pawn to c5, and even after rook takes b4, there could be the move of c6. That seems more than enough powerful to help us win. The direction of c6 is easily understood by the attack that the pawn is ready to make. And after b takes to the c and then d takes to the c, king e8 and rook takes to c7, it's most natural that those pawns, with the support of the rook and everything that we're doing, is going to help white win. Rook e7, king f8, and pawn to c7. The game is over. There's no chance how black can stop rook h7 or rook d7, or maybe one after another, rook h7 and rook d7. So you can see that once you penetrate the opponent's position, nobody can stop you. But a move like h4 is really not an easy one to see. It's about asking yourself why it doesn't work. That's the first rule about working in tactics. Once you see an idea, why it doesn't work, don't leave it. Just ask that question, and you'll see how to make it work.